Hi, I'm here with Gary Cleaver and he's going to be standing for the Matson ward, and I'd like to introduce him to you for you to get to know him and hopefully vote for him. Gary, can you tell me what you know about Matson? Why Matson? Why are you standing there?
Well, I've lived in Matson for 20 years. It's a very nice place. The people are very friendly. There's a great community spirit, and there's a wonderful green area, such as Robinswood Hill, Sneedham's Green, and Matson Park as well. It's a very undervalued area, and I'm standing as a council candidate to try and take us to another level.
What is it you particularly feel is important to the people, the residents of your ward? What are the things that make them cross, or that you believe you can change?
There are sort of like many issues and ideas really. I think one of the main things really is the quality of the housing and the fact they're not being listened to. There's things like cleaner streets, parks, hedgerows and that sort of thing, which is the everyday type of thing. But what we're really looking for is the quality of life. That's the thing. There's women there who want to go out to work but they can't because of their children. The transport isn't there really and the infrastructure is not there as such. I mean, we've got 2 bus services which go from Matson to Gloucester every day. But for me, it has to be a sort of like a wider range thing, really, of sort of like buses going from Matson to Stroud. Because one thing I'm looking at, it's very much social inclusion, social mobility, and a sense of belonging, because everybody in the ward of Matson and Robinswood has a great sense of belonging.
You mentioned to me earlier something about some green spaces that you're very concerned about, that there's going to be quite a big building development.
Well, this is it. There's many factors to this. There's the unknown factor as such, because this has been going on since 2013. And because some years ago I was promised that it was going to be starting by sort of like 2021 and that there'd be very much higher investment levels coming into Matson, like sports facilities, allotments and an orchard. But nobody's really talking about the ecosystem, the lovely natural beautiful area we've got there with the trees, wildlife and the plants and everything. We're told that 16 oak trees are being protected and some of the wildlife as well. But there's nothing 100%. I think it's totally out of control of the people in the Matson
And do you believe, if you're elected, that you can make a difference, that you can actually affect some change that the people will welcome?
Very much so, because I want the balance of the ecosystem and the wonderful natural views, but I also want the investment which is so desperately needed in that area. We need a new community centre, we need a digital skill centre as well, especially going into the future with artificial intelligence. The one thing that the ward of Matson and Robinswood cannot afford is to be left behind. The investment has to be there. But the trouble is with this new development, it's all going to be private. And a friend of mine is sort of like saying to me, Gary, it's never going to happen because this development is between 2 roads, one road and the M5. So you've got to ask yourself, why would they build 600 houses right next to a motorway where there's constant noise?
In terms of what you can change, if you were thinking 4 years ahead and you've been elected a councillor for a while, how would you like your electorate to judge you next time round? What are the measures that you think they could judge you by? Will it be preserving more of the green space? Will it be more about having your centre for AI and other connectivity issues?
There are many different things really. There's the micro side of things, like we've got a lot of small local organisations like GL Communities and Gateway Matson, which helps a lot of the ordinary people. I'm very much into that, and I go to the Partnership Residents Group, so I hear different people speaking. So it's all about representation and accountability on a lower level to do with the residents group. So people can say to me, Gary, you come to these groups, what's happening?
Accountability is one of the big issues, isn't it, that's come up over other things.
I go to the residents group meetings on a regular basis, I go to the partnership group meetings on a regular basis, I'm part of the community advisory group, which relates back to the residents, and I tell them what's happening. Me becoming a councillor would be an extension of that, saying we are working with you all the time to get what you want. Not just for disadvantaged families, but for disabled people as well.
So you're standing as an independent. How is that going to be helpful to you in trying to get things done? But also you won't have loads of party behind you to tell you these are the things that we're trying to do. So how are you going to make that work?
Well, I think with the sort of like the parties, they might have the power, but I think it's very much how you're tied to them with obligations and the matter of sort of like freedom. My duty totally is to Matson and the people of Matson. If I see something is wrong, I shall say it's wrong, and if something is right, I shall say it's right. I have to be honest with everybody. Like I said, the trouble is certain communities, especially Matson, have been so tied to party politics and party ideas and policies like the Labour Party that they've forgotten about the real people and the real issues. I myself will decide how the future of Matson is decided. So there will be no obligations to the party. So I will be free to make any decision and my own consciousness as well, the way I think, which is true, and which is truly valued.
So you can then truly reflect the feelings and the needs of the people within your ward rather than having to vote the way you're told.
Yeah, very much so. I certainly don't want to be in a position when somebody comes out to me and say, Gary, you've got to think of the party, think of the party policies. You can only do so much. I want to be in a situation where I can decide, make the proper decisions, talk to other people in Matson, because being a councillor is going to be talking about with all the people in the area, whether it's Matson or Robinswood, and seeing what they generally want. I can't just sort of like say, I can't do that for you because of this and so on. I will remain loyal to them. One of the main things I would say is the knowledge of the ward and the fact that I've lived there for 20 years. My background is Gloucestershire and Matson. I believe in Matson and I believe in the people, and I am determined to carry them forward to bring about this social mobility, social inclusion and the feeling of belonging.
Brilliant.
And they trust me.
So building on the community spirit that's already there.
That's quite right, yeah. And I'm always there because, like I said, as being part of the community advisory group, I know what's happening because I'm forcing a meeting within the next couple of weeks, which is to do with how Matson is developing, because it's gone very, very quiet with the building of new houses and all that. And I've been to these council meetings, so when I get elected, I should have more force because I'm already halfway through the door. The next step is to go into that door and say, I'm here to stay, and this is what I want.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Gary, for your time, and good luck.
Yes, thank you very much.